Hi, my name is Nathan Davis. I'd like to give you a mortgage market update for the week beginning May 18th. So it's been several weeks since I did my last update, and frankly we haven't seen a lot of movement in mortgage rates up until recently. Right now we're on about a 3-week trend of interest rates starting to creep upward. Rates are still very good though, trending between 3.75 and 4% on a 30-year fix, depending on whether you're looking at an FHA or conventional loan. However, some things to watch for: the Federal Market Open Committee meeting minutes that are going to get released this week. You're going to pay very close attention to the words used. There's still a lot of anticipation that the Feds will hike short-term interest rates sometime this year. Now that doesn't have a direct correlation to long-term interest rates or mortgage rates. However, it is a clear signal that if the Feds do that, the economy is definitely looking stronger, and more than likely you're going to see long-term interest rates or mortgage rates follow suit. So I'll continue to keep you posted as we see those things progress. But again, right now rates are still very good, but starting to work on an upward trend. The other thing I wanted to share with you that I think is really of vital importance that we're going to have to pay close attention to in the coming months is Fannie Mae had recently implemented what's called the collateral underwriter. It's basically an automated valuation method that gets thrown into the automated underwriting system of Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac is utilizing this as well. Now this is important because what it's basically doing is putting greater spotlight on the appraised value as the appraiser completes their work. It's going to pull in other comparable sales that may not have been used in the appraisal, and to some degree the appraiser has to justify why those weren't used. Now this will create more work for the appraiser, somewhat maybe longer turn times for appraisals to come in, and certainly with the added scrutiny, appraisers are going to be a little bit more careful about adjustments they make on comparables. Now why is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac concerned about this all of a sudden? Well, take a look at home values right now. Right now home values are very similar to 2004. Well, you may remember in 2004 we had an annual increase of about 13%, very similar to what we see today in an annual increase in values. But then we saw 25%, 34%, and then you know what happened after that. Well, the market is different today and not necessarily allowing those kinds of increases, just frankly because the mortgage industry is much different. Back then we got to choose the appraiser we wanted to use. Their guidelines were much different than they are today, and frankly we were giving mortgages to people who probably shouldn't have been getting them. So because the industry is so different today, it's going to kind of keep those bumps in the road, if you will, where it's not going to allow massive appreciation to occur with all the guidelines that are there, unless we have an influx of cash buyers that are just willing to pay a lot more for homes than what they're really worth. Not likely to happen. However, we still have to kind of pay attention to this because at some point we're going to see things level off, and it will become more difficult for appraisers to get value on increased amounts month after month. So, again, it's going to be very important that we have these conversations with buyers and sellers alike as to what's going on in the market, and maybe the difference between what a person can sell a home for versus maybe what it can appraise for, based on the various guidelines that are in place and how the lending market is going to be very careful not to repeat history. Coming up in the next couple weeks, I'm going to share with you some big changes that are occurring in August that can have an influence on closing date timeframes, and something that you'll definitely want to get well ahead of. So look for that in my next update. I hope you've enjoyed this. My name is Nathan Davis. Call me anytime, 239-898-8841. Or catch me on my website at www.agentslender.com. Have a great week.